Hey guys, Victoria here with Take the Lead. So you're about to see a video teaching a dog. We're teaching Kai, who's a young Doberman, how to use the treadmill. There's a couple things. Kai gets started and he does really well, but a couple things I wanted to address in video before you kind of watch this, because this is meant to be an explanation, kind of how-to video on treadmill training a dog. Kai gets up there and he does really well. Doesn't get too nervous, just tries to figure out, how to get one foot in front of the other. And you can get that a lot with dogs, but sometimes you are going to get dogs who are really nervous. You're going to get dogs who kind of lock up their legs and don't want to walk. You might get dogs who get a little panicky and try and jump off. You can have dogs that lay out like a pancake on the treadmill bed itself. You can have dogs who try and run off the front, which Kai does a little bit of trying to walk off the front. So you don't exactly know what you're going to get when you get started. The big thing here is to stay calm. Introduce it up and down a few times before you get started. Stay calm once you turn the treadmill on, and just guide the dog. Some dogs pick it up really fast. Other dogs are a little more stressed out, a little more anxious. But the cool thing is, regardless, and I've done this with tons of dogs, regardless of how the dog starts off, as long as you stick to it, keep guiding them through it, work them through the challenge of it, and then continue to practice a little bit every day, dogs get really confident when they finally figure out how it works, how they put one foot in front of the other. So you don't necessarily know what you're going to get when you get started with your dog on the treadmill, but the big thing here is to set it up like I do with Kai. Stick to your guns, stick through it, guide your dog through it, and keep them moving forward. The cool thing is, once they figure it out, once they get over putting one foot in front of the other, the initial kind of like overwhelmingness of it all, they do awesome after a few sessions. So just stick with it. If you have any questions, let me know, and enjoy the work with Kai. He's so cute. Hey guys, Victoria here. So I had a request to show how I introduce a dog to a treadmill. So I'm going to do this with Kai. I'm going to show you guys how I do the process here. First things first, I invite the dog up and off a few times, and I like to use food to kind of get them to get up and off. I've got a leash here and a leash here on both sides. These are slip collars that I can hook around the dog, so there's one on each leash. You could put 2 martingales on the dog. You could put I wouldn't do 2 flat collars, but maybe you could do 2 martingales. But the idea is that I'm going to have a leash going from each side of the dog once I hook him up. So I'm going to take him on and off a couple times. Again, the big thing here, he needs to wait to be released. He can't just run off on his own. Break. Boy. Up. Yes. Boy. Break. Up. Boy. And we'll do one more. Break. This is Kai's first time on the treadmill. Up. Boy. Alright, so now I've got to get him hooked up. So, as I said before, I hook a lead from each side of the treadmill to the dog. So he's wearing a slip leash right now, which I will take off shortly after he starts walking. But to start, we're going to put him on the 2 leads coming from a leash on each side of the treadmill. We've got another one over here. Just trying to get it done. Anyway, you cooperated, you goofy puppy. No. Alright, head goes in the middle. Alright, so now he is hooked up from both sides of the treadmill. And then we still have a slip lead on at the top of the neck. So what we're going to do now, the big thing here with the treadmill is you want to make sure that your dog gets up to a decent walking speed rather quickly. It's hard for them to walk really slow, but it all depends on your dog. So What this yellow leash with the slip lead at the top is for is to help me make sure that he stays centered, that I can guide him forward as he starts walking, and that he doesn't jump off. These also keep him from kind of jumping off. Come on, buddy, get up. But I'm going to use the slip lead to guide him forward, and then I'm also going to use my left leg to kind of block him, stay on the treadmill. So let's get this thing moving because this puppy's running out of patience on me. So we're going to get started. Go ahead and start at 1 mile an hour. Let's go, let's go. Good boy. Good boy. So you can see like he's kind of like, whoa, what's going on? This is 1 mile per hour. Good boy. Sometimes you can even start at half a mile an hour for some dogs, but 1 mile an hour is actually still pretty slow. But this is just kind of allowing him to see like how his feet work on this thing. If you look closely, he's kind of bouncing back and forth. So if you watch, I'm blocking him with my leg, and I'm doing a lot of guiding with the slip lead. The big thing here is I make it relax once he's in the right spot, but if he lags behind, I guide him up. If he pulls ahead, I guide him back. Good boy. Yeah. Good job. Good boy. I'm just going to stand here and block him, kind of helps keep him on here. And then if you can see, the yellow leash is the slip lead. I'm just using it to kind of guide him up, but I release it once he gets in the right spot. So there's not a lot of pressure on it right now. Kai's getting the hang of things pretty well. He's moving pretty good. You know, one foot in front of the other. I kind of want to let you guys see what he's doing, but I don't want him to try and jump off. Good boy. Good boy. It's important for him to be able to feel the back of the treadmill. Usually I don't box the treadmill in this much. I just have a crate here because that's life. We have a lot of crates out. But I do like to set the treadmill up so that there's really just one way on and one way off. So I tend to block the front and then put it against the side of a sidewall. Good boy. Put it up against the sidewall just to make sure that he can't, I want him pretty good about getting on and off the right way. So he's pulled off of it, so I'm going to guide him back on with the slip lead. Release when he gets back on there. Good job. Again, 1 mile an hour is pretty slow. And I don't he's a 5-month-old puppy. Yes. He's like a 5-month-old puppy, so I'm not going to be doing a lot of treadmill work with him because he's young and he's growing, so he doesn't need to be doing miles of running or anything. But what I do want, good boy, here we go. So I turned up the speed because he's walking off the front of the thing. Turning up the speed is going to help him stay more centered. But what I do want is for him to start to understand how it works. Like I said, he's not going to do miles and miles and lots of running, but I want him to understand how it works. Good boy. Good boy, yeah. It's just important for him to kind of get the basics of it. So he pulls ahead, so we apply pressure to guide it back. Good boy, yes, good boy. Good job. We'll probably let him go for I would let him go for another 2 minutes. And sometimes I don't have to give the dog much guidance after a while. I'm pretty insistent about pulling to the front of this thing. So I'm going to give him guidance for a little bit. I might stand this way to try and guide him. Let him not walk off the front. It off. But this is kind of just the gist of how I start to introduce it. Once the dog's kind of focusing a little bit better on their feet, I can even try and offer food. But right now, Kai's so interested in walking on the front of the thing. And that's where my focus is right now, is to block him from doing that. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an insight into how it works. He's doing a pretty good job. He'll start to get the hang of this in no time. Turn the speed a little bit again and see if he's a little less likely to walk off the front. Good boy. There we go. Good boy. There you go. slip lead in the middle. These leashes are just for guidance. All right, guys, we'll talk to you a little bit later. Thanks for watching. Bye. Good boy. There you go. There you go. Good job. Good boy. Actually, didn't stop the camera. I want to let them kind of figure out that front. You got to be a little creative with this stuff a bit. So, me guiding them off of it, he just kept wanting to go back. So, letting him kind of ride it and maybe help them figure out that the front is not for standing. Good job, buddy. Good. There you go. So yeah, I lied. Was not the end of the video. Good boy. Good job, bud. And then after a few more sessions of this, I would take the yellow leash off, the slip lead. He wouldn't need that anymore. And then he'd just be with the 2 leashes off the side. And then shortly after that, we'd have 1 leash. And then if you do it consistently in a matter of a week or so, you could have him hooked off leash. He gets a few sessions a day. So, good job, buddy. Not bad. And like I'll try moving around just to see what my dog does. If he can stay focused or if he gets tangled. Stay close by. We'll just move around. Good. Good. Alright guys, we'll talk to you a little later. Thanks for watching. Bye. Good job, bud. So, we're going to get Kai off here in a second. I just kind of want to show you how we do that as well. The big thing here is he's got to wait. He can't just march off on his own. So what we'll do is go ahead and slow everything down. So I start taking it slower, taking up the speed a little bit. Come to a stop. Good boy. Put my leg back up to block him. We're going to take these leashes off 1 at a time. Good job, bud. So we got that one off. We got this one. And again, he's got to wait. He can't just come up on his own. And then after we break, oh my gosh, don't knock on my phone. After we break, we go back up 1 more time. Up, good boy. Just to make sure we end on a good note. You're such a brute. You're such a brute. All right, guys. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update, show you the process, let you see how we do. That's all. Treadmill stuff. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.